Hi, everyone. My name is Alyssa Daniel.
Hello, my name is Joshua Cobb.
And my name is Caden Murphy.
Today, we're going to be talking about some practices for during the exam for high school students. When it comes time for exam day, while we would love to not run into any issues and attempt to plan things out perfectly, the world laughs in our faces. Students, even at the secondary education level, are not just students sometimes, as they can as well be participating in sports, band, theater, and or other academic activities that can cause them to be late for an exam or unable to take it that day overall. As well, students can run into problems outside of school like being sick, missing the bus, or unable to get a ride to school from a friend and or a parent. So while it seems hard, we must plan for those outcomes to occur. For students with extracurricular activities, one bonus we have is being able to communicate ahead of time with the school staff in charge of said activity to see what upcoming events that may pull that student out on exam day or risk them coming in late. When it comes to most of the extracurricular activities, the school and staff involved will always place the classwork ahead of anything else. So letting, for instance, the coach of the football team know that there's an exam coming up that a student on the team needs to take, the coach will make sure that the student gets there. Now, while in theory that sounds like it would work out perfectly, sometimes mistakes can happen and that student doesn't make it in time. So always having a backup plan in the event is important, and assuming you will need it to as sorry is the right step, as it is easier to cancel blocked out time for a student to come in and make up a test rather than trying to create the block in a short notice. This is where the unexpected missing student becomes a problem, as with their delays or missed time on exam day becomes a last minute attempt to get that time back. So when it comes to those cases, the best thing to do is work with the student to get scheduled for them to take the exam. It could even be the same day during after school hours, as most districts do have the ability to not only have an exam be taken after school, but as well after school buses are available. If there is a worry about transportation being needed, now, when it comes times for students who arrive late to class on exam day, it feels like a slight on the student to still expect them to take the exam, but with less time as their peers. So, following the same procedures that happen when a student misses the exam completely would be fitting, but making sure that the student stays out of the classroom while their peers are taking the exam. That way, they can get a sneak peek at it and try to cheat when they have to, is key.
No, there are most students who need special accommodations for a multitude of reasons when it comes to not only their classes, but taking their exams as well. They can be seen in the enforcement of 504 or IEP plans for students. But with it being mandatory to consider that the things students need also become much easier as it's listed out within the plan. So to best understand what a student needs as an accommodation, referring to those 504 or IEP plans is preferred. But that does not mean it's the only thing to do. Students' needs and accommodations they require can always be in flux, so monitoring the student's progress ahead of exam day and adjusting the accommodations to the student's needs as the class goes on is critical. So, when addressing these needs on exam day, it can be as simple as allowing the student to go into a designated test area in the school to take their exam, allowing them additional time to take the exam. In some cases, the use of a text-to-speech device or to read the questions aloud, or have the teachers or a teacher's assistants read the questions aloud to the student in need of that accommodation. There is a wide array of accommodations that a student can need, but most of the time the IEP or 504 plans have the most up-to-date information as the team behind them are consistently meeting and reviewing the student's progress, to which if you have to refer to them, you will most likely be aware of these meetings.
Exam day is a hard day on students, no matter how much they can study or try to get themselves in the right headspace. As they can, as such, they can and most likely will be frustrated when they get stuck on a question that they have may have thought that they would get without an issue or have no clue to answer. As such, just like when a student has an outburst in class, we as teachers need to have to approach the situation in a delicate way. But unlike the classroom, normally we can just outright give the student the answer that they're looking for. One strategy could be let the student um, talk out their decision on a question in a hushed tone with them as letting the student talk out their decision can be just what they needed to determine if that is the right if that is right in their mind or not. We all have all at one point been we have all at one point been overthinking something that we know in the back of our minds, but when we vocalize it, that frustrating and stress vanishes. The next strategy, rather similar as it would be without giving the answer away, guiding the student to the path using a directing question to their question. By questioning their question in a manner like, is that what happened? Or that seems right. Are you sure though? While on the surface seems to be adding more to their frustration, but the goal is to get them to rethink their own question and dig in their minds for the correct answer. With the exam, it is important to not just give the answers away, as there is no point to them, as then there is no point to them at all, but as well, it gives the students in the mindset that they can just turn on their brain and ask questions and get answers with not thinking on their own end.